Welcome to FreedomCast. This podcast was started by a dude buying and selling fitness equipment in his backyard. In less than a year, I quit my Fortune 100 job and started a fitness empire. I now interview business owners who have built businesses around helping others get healthy and active. It's fun, it's entertaining, it's informative. It's what fitness should be. FreedomCast is brought to you by Freedom Fitness Equipment in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's get rolling. So tell us a little bit about like who you are, and then how you got to that point.
So I just grew up as a little fat kid that really didn't know anything about fitness, and my family, the whole realm of fitness was so far stretched from, what I knew. So I didn't know that I was a fat kid or, the fat kid until I really got to like middle school or something, because everybody in my family was like heavy set or which essentially obese. We all ate gravy on everything, multiple. Yeah, I know. It's like, oh, you guys don't have baked potatoes and mashed potatoes? Like, that's not common when you go over somebody's house. It's not two types of gravy to choose from. So I go over a friend's house and I was like, oh man, like they're not doing good. Like they might be a little low on cash, because that's so what I'm used to. Like all of the food options. Turkey stuffing, regular stuffing, oyster stuffing, like these are our options. And it wasn't anything of, vegetables and stuff. And I started playing sports because I got so big. So I started playing football because the coach reached out to me. It was like, you're taking up a lot of space and and I was like, I don't know if that's a compliment. Like, how do I take that? He was like, no, man, you're a big kid. Yeah. Like, you can do really good at football, just taking up space. That's all you have to do is like stand there and block or, whatever. So, I said, well, let me like try this journey out and see like what this looks like. And at that point, it was a transitionary point, because I was getting teased for being fat. Yeah. And then when I started playing football, I wasn't teased because it was like an accolade to be that size. Yeah. So it was like, okay, I found that happy medium. Oh, you're fat, but I play football. I have my jersey. So it's like, okay, you're allowed. You're allowed. Yeah, you're allowed to be fat because you play for our school. So it's not so bad. So it's like, okay, now I'm not fat again. In my mind, I'm not fat again. So I continued on and played through high school, played in college, broke my leg, and then I ballooned up. So when I played, I want to say in college, I was like 386. Okay, yep. Broke my leg and got to 430. And talk about like fat, it was just fatter than the fattest that I've ever been. You know what I mean? And like going out with friends and stuff, and I'm already tall. Yeah. So not being able to get on roller coaster rides because I'm tall and big, sitting in people's cars. And I don't know if they make cars differently now, but I know sitting in the car and like leaning back just a little bit and the seat just snaps, it goes all the way back, and feeling sorry. But, I feel sorry that I broke somebody's seat, and they feel sorry that I'm so fat that I broke their seat, going to, I want to say like a cookout or something, sitting in a chair and breaking the little plastic chairs, and always then from that point on, it's like, okay, when we go to a picnic, I have to find the wooden old school benches or what have you, because I know I won't break those. Like, those are not going to snap or anything. So I just got to a very overwhelming point where I just wanted to change for myself. I just got tired of being fat, and I was pretty ashamed to like go to the gym. Yeah. And gyms had just started being open, I want to say 24 hours. And I was like one of those people that say, okay, I'm only going like at 11 o'clock at night to like 4 in the morning, because I don't want anybody to see me like this. I don't want anybody to see me trying to lose weight and have eyes on me like, who's this fat kid in here sweating? So I just completely changed everything that I ate. I said if I couldn't grill it or bake it, I wasn't going to eat it. Wow. And I just threw everything out. All of my, when I used to go to the grocery store, it was like juice, like every type of orange juice, apple juice, pineapple juice, chips, the things that are not healthy for you are the cheapest. So I can go in there and get Utz, and it's like, oh, a big bag of Utz is $1, 10 for $10. Well, I'll just get 20 bags of chips, and and that'll last me like a week. So just transitioning into trying to find healthier things. I wouldn't say, in retrospect, looking back at it, it wasn't the healthiest method, but I didn't know what I was doing then. I just knew that I needed to cultivate a change, and this was the best way I knew how to do it back then. Oh yeah. So just walking to the gym and transitioning my body, and just slowly but surely just continuously losing weight and never really lifting weights, just doing a lot of cardio, a lot of walking, and just kind of messing with the machines, but not doing too much. our strength and conditioning coach in college taught us core movements for football, for that skill set, but not really how to train as far as like losing weight or building muscle or anything of that nature. It's like you need to be able to push people, you need to be able to bench, you need to be able to squat, you need to be able to do this, but other fundamental movements, not so much. Like how do you curl a dumbbell? I really don't know how to curl a dumbbell, but if you tell me to squat, I could squat 500 pounds. Like, you know, like I can do this because this is what our coach, when you have to squat every day. What do you need to curl for? We don't care how big your biceps are, but you need to bench, you need to throw somebody off of you. So I was already, you know, I want to say strong, and in losing weight, I still kept some of that strength. And, you know, just working out with people was like, man, my buddy that I met in the gym was like, why don't you ever like compete in a powerlifting competition and something of that nature? I was like, I don't know what that is. You know, I don't know what powerlifting is. Like, I'm not into that realm of like fitness as far as powerlifting or bodybuilding or anything like that. So I don't know what it is. Like, it's the stuff that you do in football. Like, you bench press, you squat, and you deadlift, and that's it. It's for as much as you can, and you do that all the time. Again, I really didn't know anything about fitness, so I would max out. Every time I worked out, I'm going to do as much as I can every single time. So it's like leg day, squatting as much as I can. It's like, is that your max? I don't know. We're gonna push it. You know, and that was my mindset back then. So he took me out one day. He was like, hey, let's just sign you up. I'll never forget, the lady was like, we have singlets over here. I was like, you know, the wrestling thing, like the thing like I have to wear what a wrestler wears. Like, I don't really want to wear that. It's like, if you want to participate in this competition, you have to wear a singlet, and we'll sell you one for like $30, and you need to get your card. And my buddy was like, man, I'll help you. Like, well, I'll knock this out for you because I know you'll do like really good. I didn't know what the programming was. I didn't know what weight to write down or whatever. You know, I didn't know any of the steps. So they were like really coddling me, you know, when I went in the back and they said warm up, and I was like, I don't warm up. Like, I just go in there and I'm just gonna start lifting. It's like, you know, like, you're not warming up. It's like, yeah, I'm warming up. You know, I'm just doing my max, and then I'm gonna do the same thing. Yeah, I'm gonna like do my max, so I know that I could do it. Like, in my mind, I could do it, and then I just go on the platform and do it. Right? Like, is that not how this thing works?
Yeah.
And everybody's looking at me like, this dude is weird. Like, what are you doing, dude? You save some, like,
psyching people out,
right? Not knowing that's not what I'm supposed to do. It's like, what's your first attempt? I was like, well, I get like 3 of them. It's like, all right, like whatever. Max it out, and I just keep trying to go up, you know, like I'm just going to do what I know I can do. It's like, no, you just, you know, steady progression. I didn't know what steady progression was at that time. I was just like, I'm just going to kill it. And he's like, do you want to go up anymore? I was like, nope, I'm pretty much done. Like, like this is my second attempt, and I felt like that was all that I had to give, and that was enough. And it's like, this is insane. And the guy, you know, after the competition reached out to me, he's like, you like don't train for this at all, do you? And I was like, no, I have no idea what I'm doing. I just lift. He said, like, allow me to coach you, allow me to give you some knowledge, and you know, I want to say take me under your wing or what have you, and give you some insight on what you're doing, because you're strong. You just don't know how to cultivate, you know, your strength and how to be progressive in the sport, because everything that you did was wrong and you were successful. So just imagine if you did it like the correct way and you were successful. So at that point, I was still, I want to say large. I gotten down from 430. I was in the 300s. I was a bigger guy. And then I got down to like, I want to say the 120 plus kg weight class or what have you. And that was fun. When I started to like do it competitively, I kept getting hurt. You know, you know, it was just a thing with, I'm tall. I shouldn't be squatting that heavy. I shouldn't be trying to bench that heavy. You know, I have shoulder problems. My leg. I had sciatica for like no apparent reason, and it just became overwhelming. And it also got to a point where it's like, you know what? I like this whole lifting heavy thing, but in the entirety of my life, I've never had abs. Like, never, ever seen an ab. I saw a baby picture, and I didn't have abs then, but I was like, you know, for me, it's like this whole ab thing is hogwash. It's like a unicorn. Like, you know, it's like I've never seen them. That's something that I would want to actually see. I want to see if I can actually get my body to a point where I can actually have abs and see what that looks like. And I endeavored into, you know, reading a lot. I already like to read, but I just wanted to better read to understand, and that's one of the things that the gentleman told me, like in powerlifting, just to get more knowledge on the sport and the things that you love. So I just began reading and trying to cultivate, you know, again, a different lifestyle and see, you know, what that looks like. My objective was never to bodybuild. It was never to be a bodybuilder, fitness model, or anything of that nature. It was just to continuously be progressive and try to change my body. So I set sail on a journey to like get abs, and eventually I got them, but I didn't have any symmetry. I didn't have anything of that nature, and I needed some, I want to say, to me, some form of motivation to get me to, like, I want to say, succeed in getting abs. Like, if I have a goal and objective, I can kind of hone in on that and make sure that I stay a course. I want to say in 2017, Arnold had what you call a model search. And it was just like a person that was like a model of fitness, like a fitness model. And I said, I never saw myself as a model. But, you know, my buddy dared me to enter the competition. I said, you know what, fine. If per se, you know, that I somehow people vote for me and I win and I have to do this thing, then I will like 100% be vested in it. I entered, he was right there, and as soon as I pressed enter, I tried to backspace. Like, I tried, like, no. Like, I regretted it as soon as I did it. Like, no, man, like this could actually happen. Like, it's so far-fetched, but even, like, it being so far-fetched, I really didn't want it to happen. Even at that point, I was like, fine, like, nobody's going to vote. Nobody's going to, like, pick me to be a model of fitness. And then I got an email. It was like, hey, man, congratulations. We'll see you in Columbus, Ohio. And I was like, oh, shit, like, it's real now. Like, I really have to like buckle down and try to get some abs and like really buckle down and figure this thing out. And I just started, like, I've trained like I've never trained before at that time, you know, and I got my physique to a point where I thought at that time it was the best physique that I've ever had in my whole life. And I was really, really proud of where I came from, because I never actually saw myself being able to like attain that goal and get there. And in 2017, I thought that was it. Like, that was a huge step. That was a huge leap for me. You know, to be honest, in 2017, that was probably one of the, I will say, probably the second time I had ever taken off my shirt in public. Wow. You know, being fat all my life, that was not something that you did. You know, you wore a T-shirt to the pool. You wore a T-shirt everywhere you went. So to actually get on stage in front of a bunch of people and like show your body and like be proud of it, I wasn't there yet. I wasn't even there yet when I got on stage. You know, when I got on stage, I was like, oh, I'm not ready for this. And then like just looking out there, and it's so many lights, but you just hear so many voices. You know that it's more than one or two people out there. You know, it's a lot of people. You know, it's the Arnold. You know, it's like one of the hugest fitness events in the world. And immediately I just want to say went into shock, you know, like, oh my gosh, like I'm actually putting my body on display. And in 2017, I said, I don't think I want to ever do that again. Like, it was very mentally consuming. And it was just something that I had to get over for myself, be accepting of like my body and the transitions that it made. And I want to say, you know, immediately after that, I went back into powerlifting, because that's something I felt comfortable in. Okay. I could wear clothes, you know, taking my shirt off, you know, putting a singlet back on didn't seem so bad after you take your clothes off. Yeah. It's like, okay, yeah, I could put a T-shirt on and a singlet, and I can cover up my imperfections, and I can just keep doing it. And again, I kept getting hurt, and I said, you know what? I had abs once, you know, once in my whole life, 2017. Like, I don't have them again. Let's see if I can actually get them again. Let's see if I can actually cultivate, you know, an actual physique that's going to be presentable to everybody. And within all of this that I'm speaking on, you know, I started an Instagram, and I didn't start it to be, you know, a fitness Instagram. Like, I want to be an influencer. I want to give people guidance on a journey or whatever. I just was like, hey, this is me lifting heavy stuff. Like, this is me, you know, trying to get abs. This is my journey. And I think that I built, I want to say, a cult following of people. Nice. Because of my transparency, you know, my honesty, and me not knowing what the industry, you know, had in store. I wasn't an industry person where I just would say, oh, I'm not doing this, or I'm doing that, or I'm eating this, or I'm eating that. I wouldn't, like, I had no reason to lie. I had no reason to be dishonest with my followers or anything, so I could be completely transparent and really not care. Like, oh yeah, man, like I had some chips and I went to Popeyes and my stomach was hurting. Like, you had Popeyes? Like, yeah, man. It's like, you're not supposed to do that. It's like, but I did. Like, yeah, I did it. And it's the genuineness, it's the honesty, like the things to say, yeah, I'm addicted to sweets and I'm addicted to this, and people would give me crap, be like, you're littering. Because I would go on my Insta story and be like, man, I got a bag of Skittles, but I ate 2 Skittles and I threw the bag out the window, so I wouldn't eat anymore. It's like, but you threw it out the window. That's littering. Listen, this is this is me getting away from that candy. Yeah. I know if it sits in the car, I'm going to continue to eat it.
Right.
Granted, it is littering.
Yeah, but it's got to go.
Yeah, but it's got to go. It's got to get out of my reach. So, like I said, I think that people just started to follow my journey. Based on, my honesty and transparency, and people just continue to like reach out. It's like, man, your story is just so amazing. And I didn't think it was like a story. I just thought it was, for me, just my life. Yeah. I didn't think it was a story that people wanted to hear, people needed to hear, or people like desired to know more about. And as time progressed, more and more people would reach out. It's like, man, how'd you do this and how'd you do that? And like, tell me your whole story and what you did. And I said, I can't tell you what I did, because what I did back then was 1,000% wrong. Like, I wouldn't make any recommendation that people do what I did, but that's what happened for me to get to where I am. Now I'm much more knowledgeable. I can give people better insight and a better way to do it. It's a more excellent way to achieve the goal that I achieved in a very, non-progressive way.
Sure. So,
I just, like I said, I never wanted to be a fitness model. I never wanted to build a brand. I never wanted any of this. It just, I want to say, fell into my lap. It just was thrust upon me. And I think that's the best part. I think just like people looking for love, like if you go out there trying to find a wife or actively searching, I don't think you find what you're looking for. It's when you least expect those things and it comes to you. And it's much more genuine when it comes to you that way, versus you setting out on a quest to be like, I want to be the strongest person, or I want to have the best looking body, or I want the most followers, I want this. When you just do things with a genuineness and transparency, and people just feel and embrace, who you are in your story and what you have to offer and what you want to do and what you desire, it becomes that much more special to me,
Absolutely. Can you talk a little bit about the weight loss? Like, I know in going from that heavy to that slim, did you have to go through any sort of surgery or anything?
So for me, no, I didn't have to go. Like, I didn't have any surgery until, like, I want to say more recently. Okay. More recently, I just got to a point where I was like, I had some skin around my nipple that I wanted to have removed.
Oh, wow.
That was it. I never had, what do you call it? I don't know.
Like skin reduction or
I never had that skin reduction and stuff like that. Like, if you look at my pictures closely, you can tell, like, at the bottom of my stomach, like, I have a little bit of skin. Yeah. But that is about all. I was blessed. Maybe because I'm taller, I carried my weight much more much differently. And I also realized that, when I first lost weight, I did have some sagging skin. They said the more muscle that I build, the bigger that I get, then it's going to fill that void, Okay. So I just began, just trying to fill the void of that skin. Wherever that skin was, if I had loose skin around my legs, I just try to squat more, build, fill that area out with muscle. Because when I first started losing weight, it was just the elasticity of my skin was just sagging in certain places because there was nothing there to fill that void. You had lost all that fat, but what are you going to do to replace it? So in eating different foods and eating healthier and eating more healthy food, my body became more dense, and it just filled out in those sagging areas. And the parts that are, I want to say, still there, it's almost like war wounds in your story. You know what I mean? It's just battle scars. And people ask me, oh man, you look super shredded. Like, you have loose skin though. Like, listen, either you have stretch marks because you were big and got small, or you were small and got big. So, it's going to happen. I think that the world will try to tell you that you have to have this perfect body, but nobody's perfect. We're all imperfect pieces of perfection. Women who have babies, the most beautiful little people in the world, some of them get, women get stretch marks or something, and that's a part of the journey. That's the part of, like, bringing life into the world. You shouldn't wear that as, a negative thing. It should be a badge of honor to bring life into the world and be blessed to, flourish our community with life.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you created, or sorry, is this your full time? Like doing
this is my full time now.
Okay.
This is my full time now.
Awesome.
Never thought it would be.
Yeah.
I think that was another scary thing for me to just go into, be like, I'm going to take this leap. Like, I don't want to say I need a real job. Like, this is a real job.
Mm-hmm.
It is actually more work to me than working a regular job.
Yeah.
You know, it's much more consuming. Even though you're your own boss, you kind of have to stay on your own ass. You know what I mean? You have to make sure that you're doing the things that need to be done. You're in the right places, and you're actually working hard at perfecting your craft. You are, I want to say, a walking billboard for your brand. You're a representation for what you do. So, I mean, if you see a barber with jacked up hair, you're not going to go and talk to that barber and say, hey, can I get a haircut? You're going to walk right by them and say, you know what, I don't want anything to do with what you have. So you have to be a visual representation of what you have to offer. And it's kind of hard for people to understand, you know, my journey or my story. So a lot of people walk up to me and it's like, man, I want to get muscles like you. I want this and I want that. And then I'll have somebody that might be on the heavier side or obese or something say, I want to lose weight, but I don't think you understand, you know, my journey. I don't think you understand like where I'm coming from. And that's when I take out my, you know, whip out my phone and say, you know, you see this guy? It's like, man, that's your brother. Like, who's that? That's me, man. That's me at 430 pounds. Like, it doesn't look like it, but that's me. I know where you've come from. Like, now you can see where you can get if you're willing to put the work in.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that changes the mindset of a lot of people when they see themselves in you.
Yeah.
Like I'm way bigger than a lot of times a person to come up to me. I'm way bigger than they are. You know what I mean? I was way bigger than they are. Like, man, you're only what? You're only 310? Come on, dude. I had 120 pounds on you. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, you're only 400? Man, I had 20 more pounds than you. Like, really? Yeah. Now, what's your excuse now?
Yeah.
What's your excuse now? You know what I mean? Now you see what you can get to and beyond it. Like, I'm not the pinnacle. I'm not the peak of where you can get your body to, but just imagine where you can take your body to when you just seek discomfort, when you want to live on the other side of fear, not be fearful. I think that's what halted me from even being as progressive as I am now earlier. Just being fearful of losing weight. You know what I mean? Man, my 5X shirt game, you know what I mean? Like, hey, I have a lot of nice 5X shirts, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I want to keep these shirts. You make excuses. Man, you know how hard it was to find some like size 50 waist and 36 inseam jeans? Like, I got a nice set of jeans here. I got some nice, you make all these excuses. I don't want to get new clothes. Like, is that really the reason you don't want to get new clothes? You don't want to lose weight because you don't want to invest in getting a couple more shirts that are a smaller size that you don't have to, you know, go on a quest for almost a quilt for, you know?
Right.
I never forget one day I took my shirt to the cleaners and the lady started charging me. She said, these are small blankets. That's what she used to say. These are small blankets. I have to charge you. I can't charge you the price of a shirt. Wow. They're small blankets. And I just looked and, you know, there's other people in there. And you, at that time, you just laugh it off. Like, what can I say? It is a 5X. Like, if you had somebody that I need to cover up with a blanket, I could probably use my shirt, and you'd be good to go. Like, you would be warm. You wouldn't have a problem.
Wow.
And you don't realize like you're that big until, you know, you just start seeing things. You know, people start pointing it out or what have you. So
yeah, that's amazing. The transformation just blows my mind. Like, I wonder if other people. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know this. Like, I wonder if other people losing that much weight can actually build the muscle back up so they don't even have to get that kind of surgery.
I think it honestly, it depends on the person.
Okay.
You know, I think everybody's body is completely different. I know some people who have lost a substantial amount of weight and they've had to have the skin removal surgery in different areas. And I know some people who had to have just skin removal in their legs because that's where they held, you know, the most amount of weight, or that's where the skin didn't bounce back, or, you know, around their chest. And then there's some people who lose all the weight and you can't tell at all. And you know, I'm amazed I know several of those people, and you look at them today and be like, no way they were that big or what have you, and you can't tell at all. And I just want to say it just depends on the person. You never know until you try. And I think it's worth the try. You know, it's worth the try to figure out once you get there, be like, okay, I need to have it or I want to have it. And I think more so than anything, it's not a matter of necessity. Mm-hmm. Like once you lose all the weight, the skin is, it might be bothersome, to look at or just to have to tuck or move or what have you, depends on a person's situation. But as far as like from a medical standpoint, I don't think too many people have issues with the skin. You've already lost the weight. The skin is just cosmetic at that point. It's just something you want to get rid of. It might be an extra 20 pounds on your body, but you were carrying an extra, 150, 200, so that 20 pounds really don't, it really doesn't matter. But I think it's just more of some people just want a more aesthetically pleasing body. So it just depends on, on the person. My recommendation is do what you feel you need to do to feel more confident. But before you even take that step, is just to love yourself the way you are. If you love yourself enough to be like, hey, I want to create this change, sure. But I don't want people to go out here and make these rash decisions based on what the world sees as beauty, what the world thinks that you should look like. You know what I mean? If you love yourself the way that you are, then walk around the way that you are. If you're heavier and you're healthy, your heart's healthy or whatever, hey, so be it. I wasn't healthy at 430 pounds. But if you're healthy at 430 pounds and you're moving and shaking and you're living your life, more power to you. You can wear that 5X shirt. If your heart's healthy, you're active, you can do everything. And the doctor's like, you are like a 15-year-old. Like you have no problem. Then walk around like that. Love yourself enough to be. But when it gets to a point that you're uncomfortable, you know what I mean, that you're having problems breathing, you can't get up the steps, you can't do the things that you need to do, you can't be active, and it's harboring your life, then it's time to cultivate a change. At that point, it's time to really love yourself enough to create a change to where you can live for a long time. Our lives are very short, and I want the longest life that I can give myself. So if that means being healthier and eating healthier and not eating the things that I want all the time just to live a little bit longer, hey, those couple of days, I think I can get some good use out of them.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about the business of bodybuilding. So now that you're doing this full time, how are you generating the income?
So the income comes from online personal training. Okay. In person. So in person, I do more executive training. Okay. So I just deal with, CEOs, some celebrities or what have you. Sometimes I have to fly out to their sets or do things of that nature. So a large sum comes from that. Sponsorships, that's a good majority. And events, sponsorships, speaking engagements, events, and things of that nature. I think that when you get into the realm of fitness or this lifestyle, your streams of income are multiple sources. It's never just like one source. You can't just be like, oh yeah, all I'm doing is personally. Like you have to have a vast majority, and that helps. You know what I mean? Being able to do multiple things. I started my own brand, and then people was like, I wear my own brand because it's me. It's a representation of who I am. And then people are like, I like that. Like, I want a shirt like that. It's like, would you buy that shirt? Or, would you, would you buy that shirt? Or would you just like it for free? Because people like stuff if it's for free, but then they don't like it enough to spend the money on it. So it's like, do you like it? Like, would you spend money on this? Or do you just like it? Like, it looks nice on you. And people's like, no, I think I would buy a shirt. And I was like, all right, let's test the waters out. Let me just drop 2 shirts and see, if anybody buys a shirt. And, I dropped the shirt and I just stayed pinged to my computer. Is anybody going to buy this shirt? Anybody going to buy a shirt? And I fell asleep because nobody was buying a shirt. It was 3 hours, 3 hours in, which is granted, not a long time. But when you drop something, you're like, oh man, everybody's got their wallet ready, waiting on me to drop this. And nobody did. But, when I woke up the next morning and I had a couple of sales, I was like, wow, this is amazing. You know what I mean? People love me enough, love my brand enough, or love what I represent enough to be a part of my journey, and that was super awesome to me. And to me, it wasn't about the money. It was just these people like me so much or like what I represent so much that they're willing to spend their hard-earned money to be a piece of what I have to offer. I couldn't thank you enough. They gave me the option to send virtual thank yous or what have you. When people buy stuff, man, I was writing novels, dude, because it made me teary eyed to be, sometimes I think we're our own worst critics. And I never believe, you know, sometimes we don't believe in ourselves enough. You know, other people have to make us believe in ourselves. And it sounds so weird, but I didn't see any of this, like I said. So for somebody to buy my shirt, it's like, man, I didn't see that coming. Like, just like me getting on stage in 2017, like I didn't see that coming. I didn't see me making it. So for somebody to buy my shirt, that was a super big deal to me, because I thought it was just going to be a waste of money for me to invest in. If I'd have known that, I would have started with like 50 shirts. But, you know, I just nope. I'm just going to nickel and dime it, because I don't think anybody's going to buy a shirt, you know.
Sure.
Maybe, you know, your mom, your aunt, whoever
right.
you tell, you
family.
know, your family and stuff. Like, those are going to be your only customers. It's like, you know, you look in there, it's like, oh, that's my mom's name. That's my mom's address. You're like, you know, she's your number one fan. But to see people like, I don't know anybody in this state. Like, somebody brought something in this state. I have no ties to, you know, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I don't know anybody in Oklahoma City. So you purchased that. I don't know who you are. And then to see people like a couple of days later, you get a tag and it's some person on Instagram who like is wearing your shirt. It's like, what? You know, it was just unfathomable. People in different countries, you know, purchasing things. And I was like, how did you find me? And you're like in this country. Like, to me, I'm just a little guy in this, you know, little townhouse, and you're over here like buying a shirt from me, you know what I mean, and telling me, man, how much my story inspired you. And it's like, man, it was just a blessing. It's just something that I didn't see coming. And like I said, it was never for the money. It was just always just me being honest and me wanting to help people, you know what I mean. I do all of the money that I receive in revenue, I put back into the community. I host fitness camps for youth.
Oh, nice.
That you know, I don't want to say suffer from obesity, but you know, they're a little bit larger, and I don't want anybody to have to go through the struggles that I went through, you know, as a child. You know, like being teased for being fat and being teased for like not being able to play sports or not being active and things of that nature. And as a child, not knowing that you're fat, you know, not knowing what to do to create that change. Like, you don't want to tell a kid like, oh, you're fat, you need to go to the gym. Like, there's really no gym for you, but there's a way that you can be active and you can have fun, and we can go outside and we can, you know, every Saturday we go outside and we play kickball, we play frisbee, we play freeze tag. We do this for hours and hours all day. We have a cooler, and it's not full of Huggies like it would be in popsicle sticks. It's full of water and like little G2 G0 Gatorades, you know what I mean? So you replenish your body, but you're not taking in an influx of sugar, and you're being active, you know what I mean? And it just seems like a big game. We're going to have a water balloon fight, and you start on the 50-yard line, and you start on the 50-yard line, and we're going to run to each other and throw it. It's like, what? Yeah, 50 yards is a long way to go to run for a kid. But if you know you can run that far just to throw a water balloon, you're going to haul tail to the middle, throw a water balloon, haul tail back to the 50, grab it, run back, get another water balloon until all the water balloons are gone. You know what I mean? And you don't even realize you're working out. You're sweating so hard. All right, guys, get some water. You want to do it again? Yeah, because it's so fun to throw water balloons.
Of course.
But you've run over, you know, you've run all day long. You get home, your parents are happy, you know what I mean? The tips are coming in because they're like, my kid just sleeps. Every Saturday morning they come out there with you. I pick them up at noon, and I don't see them until the next morning because, you know, I try to wake them up to get something to eat, and they don't want anything to eat, you know what I mean? Because they're just so drained and so tired. And it's not the objective to make them drain and be tired. Is the objective is to get them active, to let them have fun and do things and have, you know, do exercises when it doesn't seem like it's exercise. It is never, hey, we're going to do jumping jacks. We're going to do stuff that's not fun. It's always, oh, we're going to play duck, duck, goose, but we're going to sit you guys like 10 yards apart. So, you know, you got to run 10 yards to catch you, like get to the next person. But it doesn't seem that far. It just seems like, oh, we're a little bit spread out, which is weird. But I still like this game.
Yeah.
You know, I still like freeze tag, but he's so far away. But it just doesn't seem that far. You know what I mean? And eventually, before you know it, like you've lost a whole bunch, you know, bunch of weight. Especially like during the summer, doing it every single day, going out there every single day. We can play basketball. And you're little kids, you know what I mean? You're not toddlers, but, you know, some of you guys not even 12, 13. And we're out there playing full court basketball, you know, and you're running on a full court and you don't realize you're running. Like, go shoot it. All right, go back and get the ball, shoot it again. We're playing horse, but, you know, if you shoot the ball on this side, now your next shot is all the way down on the other side of the court. And by the time you get down there, you don't realize, man, I'm winded. Like this is a long run. You're just trying to beat the other kid. And
right.
Then once you two go, sit down, drink some water, get your energy back, let everybody else go, and you do it again. And by the end of the day, you're sweating, and I feel, a sense of relief knowing that you're being active. Now when you go to school, when school starts again, or when you have to do stuff with your friends, you'll have a lot more win. You know what I mean? Friends don't want to pick you up on the basketball team when they see, you run one time down the court and you're gassed, you're tired, your hands are on your knees. So just to get those kids active and know that you can be active without having to like facilitate going in the gym. There's people that hit me up all the time like, how can I lose weight? I don't like going to the gym. It's like, man, you don't have to go to the gym to lose weight, There's people who hike every day. There's people who like to skate. You like to skate? Go skate. You like to skateboard. Just be active. Yep. You know what I mean? The only thing I can tell you, if you want to bodybuild, if you want to, perfect your craft in like some type of sport, then you might need to go to the gym for weights or what have you. But if you just want to lose some sort of weight, the best way, if you don't want to go in the gym, is just to be active. Yep. More active than you've been doing. You have to go to the store. Hey, just start parking a little bit further away. You got a new car. What people do with a new car, what do? Park so far away so the people don't hit their car. So keep that same mentality. Park in the back of the parking lot. I still do it now because it's just a force of habit. Like, why you park so far back? Well, first of all, there's always a spot. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to go up front and be like, oh, let me look for a spot. I park all the way in the back. It's always a spot because nobody wants it. And I walked all the way to the front of the store. And once you do it, it just becomes so easy. It's second nature to you. You don't even think about it anymore. It's just like going to the store. Like, I don't have a desire to pick up that chocolate cake anymore because I don't pick it up. It's not something that I do on the normal anymore. It's just a distant memory.
Sure. Your training regimen, you're talking about people can do it. I love that, by the way, that people can just get out and be active. They don't need a home gym. They don't need all this expensive equipment. They can just go out and run or do whatever it is.
Yeah.
So what was your particular training regimen like, especially starting out? Was it mostly, just so people know, was it mostly diet related and then the exercise and all that stuff kind of help boost things along? Or did you feel like most of the resistance training was the thing that was driving force in most of the weight loss?
I would say for me, the first thing that I did was walk.
Okay.
Everywhere I would walk, everywhere and anywhere. And I knew that if I left my house, I would walk to the gym, which would maybe like be 2 miles. It would be so hard to get there, walking, starting off 4:30. And it would be the dead of night. And I remember the police would just pull up and be like, are you okay? It's like, yeah, walking to the gym, like, listen, I'm not going to steal anything. Like, I'm not going to get away, bro. So, like, you already know, just walking to the gym, just need some motivation. Good for you. Like, they just let me go. Like, you already know. I'm 6'9", 430. What am I going to steal and run away from? Like, I'm caught. So, and then it was just, I want to say almost torturing myself because once I got to the gym, I got back on the treadmill and did more cardio.
Wow.
And then I left. And I would be so tired, but I knew I had to get home. This is before, you got to think, this was before Uber, this was before Lyft, it wasn't, the only person I can call was my mom. There wasn't anybody that you can call and be like, oh, let me get this ride to come and pick me up, and I give them some money. It's like, no, you're going to try to call a cab that's not coming out in the middle of the night, or you're going to just take this walk home. And that was what I did. I didn't really start touching machines until I started seeing like dramatic weight loss until I actually started noticing it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But I did start my diet. So I did in the beginning just change the way that I ate and started walking. So those were the first two things that I really started doing because I knew just all I had to do was move and I could just drop weight. Because I remember in middle school, I had to, walk back and forth to school, and I lost a lot of weight in middle school, and it wasn't on purpose. It's just because they didn't have buses that came to my area, so they made me walk. So I remember, okay, if I walk a lot, then I'll lose weight. And like I said, that's what I did. And then I got really, I want to say skinny fat, if that makes sense. I got skinny fat, and I was like, oh, I need some muscles. I need to start lifting some weights. I need to start learning. And I've always been the type of person to pick people's brains. So I would see a trainer in there, and I would ask them, oh, what's this machine for? How do you do this? How do you do that? How do you do this? And they were more than willing to give me the advice for me to be successful. And that's just like me. I'm more than willing. If people send me a message or a DM, or I'm more than willing, if I see the message, to sit down and, converse and tell you how to do an exercise or what I think, might aid you in your success. Because for one, I don't want anybody out here getting hurt. You know what I mean? Falling in love with the appearance of things that people put out, I want to say the lack of transparency, somebody telling you to do something and it's really not going to be beneficial to you. You know what I mean? It's just a ploy to get your money or a ploy to get you to do something. I've never been that way. I just want as many people as possible to be successful,
Yeah, absolutely. Talk about your background leading up to the bodybuilding and doing this full time. What kind of jobs did you have leading up to that?
So I will say that me being fat is because all I did was work in food services at first.
Oh, you know what I mean? That makes so much sense. Yeah,
back then, I mean, there weren't too many jobs. So it's like, what's your first job? Everybody, either you work in like apparel, like a store, or you work at McDonald's. So first job, McDonald's. Second job's like, you know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb here and get high food service. I went to Wendy's next. We got to get the best of the best. Go to Wendy's next. Then it was like, okay, what's after Wendy's? Go to Checkers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go to Checkers.
Yes, sir.
Then I went to Three Brothers. So it just kept, then I was like, okay, I'm going to another food place where I actually had to be like, like a server. You know what I mean? Friendly's, which is like a ice cream, shop or what have you. Mm-hmm. But like I said, it's all food services. And I'm like, what do you get as a food service employee? You get all the food you want on break. So I was like, what? I'm going to make sandwiches, chicken burgers. Like I invented the chicken burger. You can't tell me that I didn't. Like double cheese before they were even using bacon for breakfast and putting them on burgers. I was in there putting chicken patties and burger patties and bacon on my sandwich with some syrup. It was like, what is this your lunch? Yes. This is McDonald's had a supersized fry back then, so I was like, I'm getting 2 supersized fries. And getting a milkshake, and I'm just sitting down. I give it a little 30 minutes. I can eat what I want. I was back then. I was just so greedy, man. Yeah. So greedy. I mean, it was just to the point where you'd be hungry all day long. It's like, all right, I'm gonna take this 10-piece nugget, go in the bathroom, and eat it. Because I can't. I'm on shift. I'm not supposed to be eating, but I get to go to the bathroom. So I take a 10-piece nugget, go in the bathroom, and just knock it down. Go back to work. And then, every 15 minutes, I'll sneak a nugget here or there, and then it just was bad, man. It was just bad. So, after that, I started, once I got into, like, I want to say college, you know what I mean? Being as big as I was, nobody really wanted to hire you for, like, regular jobs. So it's like, you're a bouncer. From that point on, you're the bouncer. You're the big guy that can, check IDs and move people around. And that's what I did. So it's like, okay, this is going to be, I guess, a real job for me, which was back then they didn't have, like, I think bouncers now, you get paid, like, by check. This was all under the table. This is, like, all door money and all that. So all my money came as cash. You know what I mean? Just bouncing every night. So college towns, there was no, you just go out on Friday, Saturday night. It's like Monday through Monday, you're partying. And every night, like 9, 10 o'clock, even if it's a school night, you're out going to a bar. And I'm the guy that knows all the girls in the neighborhood because they come to my bar. They come to my club. They doing this and they're doing that. And you see me every night from 9 to 2 in the morning. Like, I'm there getting that money. So, I did have a couple of, desk jobs, and I realized, like, that wasn't for me. Telemarketing, the guys that call you and, hey, would you like to donate to the Federal Order of Police and all of that stuff? I was that guy on the other end of the phone. If you can envision me with the headset on, like, hey, would you like to, for the platinum package, we can send you some labels out with your name on them, and you could do this if you just get $10.
And that was T-shirt.
Yeah, for a and it was just so horrible. Like, I remember, like, when you work there, you have to stand up until you get your first, like, donation. So, and some people were really good. Like, they'd be on the phone for 5 minutes and, like, get a $1 donation, and you get to sit down. You're like, you're a telemarketer, but just imagine an office full of, like, 100 people and everybody's standing up. And you be there 30 minutes, like, you're new, 30 minutes, an hour, and you're still standing. That is your motivation to sit down. So 400-some pounds, I'm like, please donate. Please, you don't want no labels.
Please.
Yeah, just you don't want a label? Please, I give you all the labels you want. Just at least just $1. It's like, okay, I'll donate $1. Transfer. Then I get to sit down. Like, oh my gosh, thanks so much. I I started out wanting to be a lawyer, man. I wanted to change.
Oh.
Yeah, I wanted to change the world, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm changing the world in a
I was about to
very
say,
different
yeah,
way.
yeah.
I just wanted to save lives. I felt like the judicial system in a lot of aspects were failing a lot of people. Not just African Americans, not just a particular race, but people in general. It was failing people. The system itself was set up for a lot of people that were impoverished and a lot of people who were financially incapable to flourish. You know what I mean? It was just a cultivated mindset, and I just wanted to change that. And in working in that field for a bit, you realize that like it's very hard to change and like break those habits. Like people have to have a willingness and desire to create that change, and usually they don't reach out to you like when they want to create that change. You know what I mean? Like in that type of world, you just meet people at their very worst, and it's hard to come back from that.
Yeah.
Versus with fitness, when you want to create that change, they'll reach out to you. If that makes sense, if you're trapped in the legal system and you're failing and all of that stuff, you're looking at jail time, or you want to get out of this, or you've already reached like that bottom area. You're just trying to escape, but you're going to go back to it, But when it comes to fitness or what have you, a lot more people will reach out to you. It's like, hey man, I really want to start this change. Like I really want to get on this journey, and if they stick with it, they can continue. And I've been very successful with cultivating changes and seeing people get into high spirits in this environment, in this industry. You know what I mean? Yeah. Much more than in the legal system or what have you. So just to be able to see the smiles on people's faces and see people start believing in themselves again, like the glow in people's eyes when they start to see that they can do something that they never thought they would be able to. And it's not even in the beginning, it's not even the scale that's moving. It's just you moving. You just doing exercises. You'd be surprised how hard it is for somebody to think that they can walk at like 2 miles per hour on a treadmill, and then you go up to 5 or go up to 7. It's like, what? I never envisioned that I would ever walk at 7. Like, I'm trying to tell you, you'll be at 10 in no time. And then that's like unfathomable to people, just to be able to say, man, I can walk at 10, I can do this. Or guys that come in the gym, or women, 10 pounds, I can't see myself lifting more than 10-pound dumbbells. Then you get to 20, then you get to 30. It's like, people always come in the gym. I used to be that guy. Like, who in the hell is lifting this 100-something pound dumbbell? Like, who is doing that? Like, does the Hulk come here and really work out? Like, I've never seen anybody in real life use these big dumbbells. Like, where do these people come from? And then one day I became one of those people. It's like, oh, like this is what that feels like. You know what I mean? And everybody's capable of achieving, some level of superiority in their realm of fitness. You know what I mean? A level of fitness that they never thought that they would achieve. And that, to me, that's great, to continuously see yourself grow and be progressive and change. Like, that is amazing to me.
Yeah. What is the biggest factor or common factor that you've seen across all the people that you've coached that is motivating to them to lose this weight, get stronger, get in the gym, get active? Is there any sort of commonality between people?
The biggest factor to get people to change and stick with it. The biggest thing for me is to get people to buy in to loving themselves.
Okay.
I think that's the biggest thing for me. I mean, of course you have to want to be able to change. You have to want to work out. You got to want to do these things, but you have to love yourself first the way that you are. Yeah. I think that's what a lot of people miss. You know what I mean? A lot of people go out here and they hate themselves so much. That's what drives them. That's the driving force for them to change. I hate the way I look. I hate the way people talk about me. I hate the way this. I hate the way that. And when you learn to love yourself enough to create that change, you have a very different outlook. You have a very different approach. You're not fueled by anger, because anger is only going to take you so far. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. The days that you're not angry, are you still going to be motivated? You know what I mean? When you get to a point where people aren't teasing you anymore, or aren't, belittling you for being big? Are you still going to have that desire and let that be your driving force? I don't think anybody should do anything out of anger. I think you should do it out of love. You know, loving the journey, loving yourself, and loving the process. You know, and the you don't have the process is not going to be easy, but you have to love the process. Every piece of the process is changing something in you, replacing those old negative memories and those old, I want to say, nightmares of conversation or what have you, with beautiful new occurrences, you know, PRs and new levels of fitness that you never thought. So when you go out there with a humble heart and love what you're doing and love the transitionary stage, and not watching the scale, but, you know, watching yourself, seeing yourself grow and blossom, looking in the mirror and say, I love me, and I'm going to go out and do something better for me today. I'm going to make a better choice, not because I need to stop eating this because I hate myself and I'm going to get fat, but I love myself to make a better choice because I want to live a little bit longer. I'm not going to choose to put all this seasoning salt on my food.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't need this much sodium. I don't need to do these things, you know?
Do you find that there's always just a deeper reason for these people who come to you? Like, I want to lose 50 pounds. Well, that's really not about you losing 50 pounds. It's about, you know, impressing your girlfriend or feeling better. But like,
man. Especially, I would say especially women, but it's men and women. Yeah. It's men and women. Women always say, always get these DMs, man. It's 60 days. I need to get to a size 7. Or, you know, I need to get to like a size 9. You know, I'm a size 12 now. Like, what can we do? It's like, look, can we start over? Like, that's the first thing that we need to do. You know, better assess the situation. Why do you want to do, you know, this super big diet like right now? You know what I mean? Like, what is the reason that you want to drop this weight so fast? Yeah. And is this something that you think you can sustain? You know, for me, it's not dieting anymore. It's cultivating a new lifestyle. So this is going to be something of longevity. This isn't just something that you say, hey, I want to jump into this. I want to lose 50 pounds right now. But right after I do whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to go eat this whole cheesecake and I'm going back to, you know, no, I don't say that I diet.
You might as well not start.
I don't say that I diet. I just eat according to my goals. You know what I mean? So people's like, man, you're always on a diet.
That's a great way to think about it.
I just eat according to my goals. Like, would I like a piece of carrot cake? For sure. But the goal that I have, I'm not going to attain that goal with eating that. Like, you think about it. People go to work for a minimum of 8 hours a day. You know what I mean? Maybe an hour or 2 on the road. So that's 10. Some people work 12 hours a day. You're working for somebody else. And you're putting in all that energy, but you won't put that same amount of energy in yourself. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't want the rewards from doing what you need to do for you. Like, that's crazy that people won't make that same investment in themselves because it's not monetary. Yeah. I guarantee you, if you told somebody, hey, you know, I match your salary if you go and work out, people are like, for sure, dude, for sure. It's like, it's an investment. Longevity of life. That is your investment. That's your kickback. That's your 401k. That's what you need. You eating Five Guys 3 times a day, 7 days a week. I assure you won't be able to tap into that 401k that you're taking all that money into. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I assure you that money is just going to go away and it's going to go to the state because you've died a little bit earlier than what you were supposed to from not taking care of yourself. So.
Yeah. Are there a lot of folks coming to you who have hit, like you mentioned, rock bottom with health outcomes where their doctor have said, if you don't lose this or if you don't make these changes in your lifestyle, like you're serious, you're gonna.
Yes, and what's so crazy to me, some of those people are just, I don't want to say so out there, but they realize that they can die, and they're just some of them are like, I'm kind of cool with that. Like, I need to change, but I still want to have my Skittles. Like, I still want to eat this stuff.
Interesting.
Like, I've had a guy, and he was like, you know, I'm going in the doctor, and, you know, my mom snuck me, you know, a quarter pounder in the hospital and stuff like that. You're supposed to be eating healthy. Like, you're about to die, and your mom is helping you. You know what I mean? She's bringing you a quarter pounder in the hospital. Like, you have to want to save yourself. Yeah. Like, nobody's going to do this for you. Nobody's going to go in the gym and lift the weights for you. Nobody's going to do these things. You have to want it enough for yourself. And a lot of people say that they want something, but they really don't want it. Like, it feels good to hear. It feels good to hear yourself say it, because I think maybe you want to believe it, but you want other people to believe it more than you. You know what I mean? I'm going to lose 50 pounds. And you have an audience. Like, everybody's like, yo, yeah, they'll do it. And you're like, yep, I'm going to do it. And then you go home and be like, no, I'm really not. I'm really not going to do it.
That's social media.
Yeah, that's social media for you. Like, I'm going to do this, guys. And like, I'm waiting on that post. Like, yeah, it's coming. You know, one of these days I'm going to throw it out there. But it's further from the truth. So many people, I'd rather you do something in darkness. I'd rather you do it, put the groundwork in, and just be like, Shazam. Just stay super low key. You don't have to post about it. You don't have to tell people your journey. You just strive, and then that one day you post that after picture and be like, what the hell? Like, where have you been? Oh, that's what you've been doing. You've been gone for 6 months. I haven't seen you. Hey, I put my nose in the ground, man, and I've just been grinding. I haven't been thinking about much else. I just know that I had goals that I wanted to achieve, and then I've been pushing and progressing to achieve those goals. And that's what it takes sometimes. You're going to lose friends. You're going to lose people that might not be, the people that you need in your life anymore. Mm-hmm. I've lost so many people that I thought were friends. There were plenty of associates, because the realm of your life and your lifestyle is not what I need in my life to be beneficial, to grow and prosper in what I want. And sometimes I think that we lose track of that. We want people around so much that we're willing to sacrifice what we really need for ourselves. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally understand. Tell people where they can find you, both on social as well as your business.
Oh, sure. Well, you can find me in Venice all the time, skateboarding or what have you. Yeah. Like, I'm always longboarding. I'm always out there with my dog. But you can find me on Instagram at Divine Bod, and that is it. Like, that is the only place that you can find me. I have my actual personal cell phone number up there. So if somebody actually wanted to reach out to me, like, I get text all the time. Like, somebody will go on Instagram and text me like, "Is this really you?" And I was like, should I really answer that? Like, yeah, 100%. I want to be, like I said, I want to be transparent. You can text me, you know what I mean? And I can show you my phone right now. I got a crap ton of texts, and like sometimes I won't get to them, but I do try to take the time to answer everybody, because I never know, you never know what somebody's going through or the situation. And like I said, I always want to be a help to people, and I want people to achieve their goals and their dreams and their aspirations, especially through fitness. And maybe I understand that I might not be everybody's, guru or everybody's fitness model or what everybody wants, you know what I mean? And hopefully you find exactly what you're looking for. But the thing is, just going out there and taking that leap, man, you have to seek the uncomfortability to be comfortable. You know what I mean? If I would have never sought to be uncomfortable in my situations, as far as stepping out from being 4:30 and just going into the gym overnight, or leaving my daytime job to get a lifestyle of fitness, or getting merch and doing everything, taking my shirt off, man, I swear, like, people don't understand how hard that was for me. 20 plus years, and you've never taken your shirt off in public, and then you take it off for thousands of people. Bro, I didn't know what anxiety was. You hear the word, like, I don't know what the hell that is. And then I saw all those people. I was like, ha, This is that what this is? Oh, this is a panic attack? Is that what's happening? Like, I thought I was dying. I'm not dying? You telling me I'm not dying? It's like, no, you just calm down, breathe. I was like, I'm breathing because I'm talking, but I feel like I'm about to die. I feel my heart. It's like it was coming out of my chest. I was like, can I put my shirt back on now? It's like, no, you have to go back out there. Please. Like, I was begging, like, please, just let me put my shirt on. Like, I felt uncomfortable. You know, just, man, dude, go to the pool? Yeah, you can't. And it's psychological. Like, thinking back at it, you be like, man, it's like, you think it's like a cape or something like that. And like, nobody knows I'm fat. I got a shirt on. Like, yeah, 100% they do. Yeah. They just see a fat guy with a shirt. But we think that, when being bigger, oh no, nobody sees you're fat, sir. They just see that you have a nice T-shirt on and you're in the pool with that nice shirt, or it's 1,000 degrees outside and you have a big North Face coat on. Like, why do you have these big jackets on, or why do you have multiple layers? Because you're trying to hide the skin that you have. You know what I mean? Like, I was that guy. I was the guy that always had, I'm gonna have an undershirt for my undershirt just so you can't see that roll. Like, listen, I got 5 rolls, but if you can only see one, then I probably don't look that big to you. You know what I mean? You only see one roll, be like, oh, that's a, you know, he's a big dude, but he only got one roll. Like, I could probably deal with one, and then you start stripping the layers off. Like, 5 rolls a little bit too much, big guy. It's like, oh man, you know, I need to find another shirt to put on top of this one, so you don't. You just see one Pillsbury Doughboy. You're like, you know, he's just a doughy guy, you know. I don't see any rolls. He's just like a blob, and I can just deal with like one big stomach, but not multiple rolls. Like, I think we just get this illusion of what people want, and people want us to be, and that's the thing, man. We just, a lot of times we don't do things for ourselves. People don't want to lose weight a lot of times for themselves. They always want to lose weight for somebody else. A guy comes to me, man, I want to get big. I want to get jacked. Like, for what, dude? Man, girls like jacked guys. Let me tell you something. I go to the gym every day, and more men walk up to me and tell me, like, dude, your arms are huge. Dude, your legs are this. Dude, you're so tall. Dude, this. Dude, that. And it's so many beautiful women, and they say nothing to me. So I'm trying to tell you that muscles, like, muscles don't matter. It might be good to look at for a second, but if you can't sustain that conversation and stuff like that, then it's gonna be furthest from the mind. You know what I mean? So it's a constant misconception, like, oh, women want guys with muscles. No, women just want nice guys. That's it. You know, muscles are nice to look at, and I've seen guys that don't go to the gym with very attractive women. You know what I mean? It's like, he doesn't lift, of course. You know, but you just have to want it for you. Like, if you come to, hey, I want muscles because I've never had muscles, and I want to fill out a tank top, or I want to feel good about myself, or I just want to be stronger. I want to see what aesthetics looks like. You know, for me, I just wanted to see what abs look like, and that was it. So if that's something that you just want, you know, just for one time in your life, and that's what I tell people, man, just for one time in your life. If you want to go back to being big, do it. But just for one time in your life, just see yourself as you always wanted to see yourself. Like, envision the perfect you. Close your eyes, envision the perfect you, and see yourself in that moment. And then capture that picture. Now attain that goal. And from there, do whatever the hell you want to.
Yeah.
But just capture the goal of what you see yourself as. And there have been several people, I want to say plenty of people, who have made that, you know, that transition and reach that goal. And most people get there and they stay there. It's like, you know, nobody goes back. You know, nobody, even if you start changing your diet and you know, go back to not eating as healthy, you never go back to where you first came from. You remember how hard it was, but you also remember how much better you feel about yourself, how much more confident, how much more you love yourself. You know what I mean? You love yourself a little bit more when you take better care of yourself. You know what I mean? If you have a car, it's all beat down, and you kick it to get it to go, you really don't care. But when you take care of your car, you change its oil on time and stuff like that, you're proud of it. You're out there waxing it. You want to show it off. And that's the same thing about with your body. When you cultivate those changes, a lot of people see people without clothes on. I want to say, like, at the beach in tank tops, you're like, oh, he's bougie, this person is this, they're conceited. No, they've just worked very, very hard for the aesthetic that they have, or the body that they have. And I think they have a willingness and desire to show it off for themselves. Yeah. It's not for you to be like, ooh, look at them. It's like, I work hard for this body. Like, I'm going to go out and show it off. The same way when people, you know, you get a bonus, somebody goes out and buys a stereo, you blast your music. It's not for everybody else, but I feel good enough that, you know, I made this much money, I want to blast my music. I made this much money, I got a nice car. This car isn't to show off for anybody else. This is just a dream that I had for myself, and I'm just embracing that dream.
Yeah. That's amazing. You're super inspirational, and I hope everybody that is listening to this podcast follows this guy. Thanks so much for being willing to come on and talk about your story.
Man, I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
it's super awesome.
Not a problem, dude. And we'll see you at FitCon.
Yes, for sure.
Awesome. Thanks, bud.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Please give FreedomCast a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. It would mean a lot to our business. Plus, it's fun to read y'all's reviews. See you next time.